Anthony Ayeni Jones, better known as AJ, a kingpin who ruled East Baltimore with an iron fist. AJ's reign of terror left a trail of violence, destruction, and fear. From raking in $30,000 a day in drug money to ordering hits even from behind bars.
Violate.
Yo, why that man? That's why.
Don't worry about it.
And one of them.
There you go. I'm at Register in Lafayette, ma'am. I got one down.
Anthony A.J. Jones emerged as a towering figure in Baltimore's underworld during the 1990s. At the helm of a sprawling drug empire, AJ moved heroin and cocaine, flooding East Baltimore with narcotics. His operation wasn't just lucrative, it was deadly. He didn't shy away from intimidation and homicide to maintain dominance. Jones' criminal network often clashed with rivals. Their feud turned East Baltimore into a war zone. Entire neighborhoods bore the scars of their battles, drive-by shootings, daytime assassinations, and countless lives lost. Among those casualties was Jones' own stepbrother, John Jones, allegedly with AJ's own blessing, under suspicion of being a police informant. The climate of fear wasn't just born of greed, it was strategic. In a world of competing factions, murder wasn't just a tool, it was currency.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bam Bam Raw TV. Hey, this is Bam Bam, aka the 411 Giant. I want you to hit that subscribe button for me. I want you to hit that bell icon button. I want you to hit that like button for me, so you know when my next video come out. Hey, this is another episode here I'm bringing to you. This is about AJ, Anthony Jones, out of Baltimore. He's a legend out of East Baltimore, bloody Baltimore, they called it and everything. I had the opportunity to be around him up in ADX Florence and tell you a story about him. I will give you the allegations made concerning AJ. AJ was allegedly a kingpin in East Baltimore. AJ allegedly, as why he was this kingpin, was involved in many murders, not several murders, many murders. But his story goes allegedly that Anthony Jones had a group that he had made up and put together and became the organizer of a very lucrative money-making group up in East Baltimore. And with every group, you have a rival that's making money. They said that AJ was definitely he had a saying, well, get mines or be mines. And in that situation you was going to either work for him or you was going to be eaten by him. But it was just not AJ doing the killing. The killing was going back and forth. It was going because AJ had started making a lucrative amount of money in the drug trade. And in making this a lucrative amount of money in drug trade, he continued to want to expand his territory and make more. Now you had this cat named Elway. Elway was making money. He was pulling in $15,000, $20,000, at a time. So now he is not going for this. AJ is he eating up land. Eating up land like it ain't nothing. He taking those territory. You gonna either sell for him or you gonna disappear. You know what I'm saying? So now Elway is not going for this. He feel like it's too much money to just run from. And he don't, every man think that you ain't no tougher than him. And so for a while, this is the way Elway felt. So they was going back, and his business was, like I said, very lucrative. Unfortunately, it was a lot of bodies in between this beef that is going back and forth with him and this guy named Elway, who had his own little group, who was not going to fall prey to AJ. At least that's what the way the situation was supposed to be. And allegedly, AJ and this Elway went back and forth, and they was, bodies was flying, bullets was flying, bodies was found here, body was found there, and it's going naturally. It started getting the attention of the police and everything. They was finding bodies in buildings and everything based on the smell that the people was hearing, that the smell that was, people were smelling when they go by, and then the stories they were hearing from the street. So they did a big raid and they found some bodies and everything. Back and forth, so the body count was falling on both sides. Body count was falling on both sides. It was actually so many bodies that had happened in this particular war that bodies was stinking, and the people was coming down the street and they passed these apartment buildings and they smell this foul odor, and they smell it stinking and going on. So they eventually alerted the police, and the police come down there. Allegedly, they come down there and did a little swoop. And in doing this swoop, they found many bodies that was decaying and rotting in these apartments, abandoned apartments and everything. So that made them pry into, why is this many bodies on the streets? What's going on that we don't know about, that there's many bodies on the streets? And that, well, people tell them there's a war going on between Elway and AJ. You know what I'm saying? So now they say, okay, well, AJ got shot a few times, so it's going back and forth. Now AJ, they saying AJ was sending people to kill, even kill Elway men, and Elway was sending dudes to kill AJ. But at one time they were saying that AJ was not the one who was doing the killing, because he was such a laid back, smooth guy and everything. They felt like he was using his money to manipulate the other people. But then now AJ ended up allegedly killed his own brother for being a potential snitch. So that kind of turned the tide on things there, to realize once that started circulating and everything, they realized that they were dealing with a real man, that he wasn't just a phase. And like I said, he's AJ, and they going back and forth with each other. And Elway ended up getting AJ shot, and AJ got him shot, and allegedly. And so now, in the person AJ trying to get rid of him, AJ is infiltrated his own means, whether it with persuasion, fear, or money. AJ had infiltrated his means to the point where he was going to have some of his very own means to kill Elway for him. But it still had nothing to do with the continuation of the beef between Elway and AJ. And somewhere down the line, it seems that allegedly AJ killed his brother, for supposedly going to be a snitch against him and whatever. But the man is known for taking care of his business. He's known for getting money. But he's also known for taking care of his people, because he did some things for his people. He bought them scooters, bought things for them, made sure they was all right on certain things, So he, with every good side, and with every bad side, you got a good side. But AJ continued on, and when AJ and Elway kept getting into it, and AJ supposedly had some of Elway mans on the inside that was actually going to kill him himself. So, I guess that's what the rapper get the sayings from, that I don't need to be there to kill you, because I have men in your hood that'll do it for me. That is what I think the rappers be saying about when they say, I don't have to come in your hood to do nothing to you, because I got people there that'll do it to you for me. And AJ was very, very, very persuasive, whether it was with money, whether it was with intimidation, or whatever it was. But he was seen to be the man getting things done. And that became a problem because of the body count, and with the notoriety coming upon the city, then they had to do something about it. And I think that's the way AJ was living back before they even did that. Now they lock AJ up. He in jail. So now they done tied his hands. He's in jail. There's nothing he can do. Allegedly, AJ didn't feel like there was enough boundary to stop him. Allegedly, AJ was still having hits and having things done on these potential witnesses that would come up in his case. And he was still having them murdered from the jailhouse. And so that definitely got the feds involved in it going on when you taking care of something from the jail and everything, superseding the security. So now AJ is stuck. AJ get caught up, and AJ get a life sentence. They sought the death penalty for him, and so like I say, AJ ended up eventually getting caught up, and they convicted him and get him a life sentence, and they sent him to ADX. Is where I got to meet him, and I met him. And what stood out to me at first was he was a tall, slim guy. You know, everybody's taller than me, but he was pretty tall, slim guy, and he come through. He moved real smooth. He wasn't, he wasn't loud or wasn't boisterous, and the police taking him in. You see he passed by. But what really struck out to me was since I had been in ADX, I was the only prisoner allowed to wear shades on the inside because of my eye condition. Not only because of my eye condition, because I teamed many times with the guards, and I had my lawyer to get involved in it in order to for be able to allow for me to wear my glasses on the inside based on my medical condition with my eyes. So it was rare to see an inmate walking around on the tier, walking in on the tier with his shades on his eyes. So naturally, my mindset was, God dog, man, how much he went through to get his. I know what I went through to get mine. I went through gas, and I went through getting shot up with the gas guns and with the pellets. So I had an interest in him just to hear that story on how he got his glasses. And so what happened is they actually put him up over me. When they put him up over me, the homeboys from DC, they sent me a line. They sent me a kite down on the line. Said, man, that's AJ out of Baltimore, man. Yeah, he a solid dude. He a head buster. He right up over you, man. Said, holler at him, man. Greet at him, and let him know you got some men down here like Wayne Perry and all them, and give him a run around. He a homeboy. So I did that. I hollered at him, and I introduced myself to him and everything like that. And he did like most people do when I introduce myself. He tell me, yeah, I've been hearing about you through the system, in which I did help. I helped. It's some hitters from every state. There's some hitters and some steppers from every state. And it's a lot of them that I don't get to mention much because, y'all wouldn't know them, but they're just as proficient and dangerous. You got out of Baltimore, you got Bolton Apple, which did catch a body down in Beaumont. You got Moan, you got Red Dog, you got Big Mike, you got Ty Lib. So much respect to those steppers. I mentioned some of the people I had been around, and Big Seven, so he told me that he had heard about that. And so we go back and forth. I asked him what is it that we could get him up there and everything. And we went back and forth, real low-spoken guy, you know what I'm saying? He don't put on no big old ass. So I was asking him and finding out what he needed. I let the dudes know what he had just got there and everything. So we put together a little care package, not just men from DC and Baltimore. Most of the solid men's on the tier, kind of that had access. Malik, all us, we did what we could for him. But he didn't really want for nothing, but we still wanted to get him started out till his property got there. So in that going back and forth, making sure that I hollered at the ones downstairs about what he needed and where he wanted to know who was at and who was at. And so I finally asked him about the shades and going on, and he told me that he actually had a medical condition with his eyes in which they had documented and everything. He actually was supposed to be going get an operation for it, but the problem he was having, and I was telling him how to try to get in touch, get his lawyer on top of it, the problem he was having because his security level was so high, just like with all us in ADX, his security level was so high that they really don't want to take you to a doctor because it's take you out to the outside hospital because it takes too much manpower and it takes too much money basically, and that's what it's about. So if you ain't making a whole lot of noise, or you ain't willing to team behind it, or you ain't got a lawyer that's on top of it, then they gonna drag it. They'll drag it to the last minute. They actually let you die in there if they have to, but to save themselves that money. But anyway, we went back and forth and everything, and I told him a little bit about my case. We don't dig convicts talking to each other. You don't dig for information. That's why the information that anything that I say pertaining to an individual's case is something that me and him discuss freely, because we don't dig for each other's case. We don't look for each other. We don't dig for each other's case. You know what I'm saying? So me and him went back and forth, and I was telling him about my case and some of the things that my co-defendant won, and I was telling him that things that they won that may be beneficial to him, and I was telling him to looking up our case, and he'll see that the victories did not help me, because the judge had a clause on me saying that all the witnesses that testified was like, I don't care what you do with the rest of them, just as long as he die in jail and he don't never get out. So the judge would always, when I had something coming up in the courts, he would always go back to that and say, well, on my discretion, I'm going to deny Mr. Richardson this, or I'm going to say that, okay, then instead of reducing his time down 15 years, I'm going to reduce it down to 3. He can get 3 down, this down. So anyway, so we went back and forth, and I gave him my case number going on. I told him I had some material that he make it look at, some briefs he make it look at. And so we went back and forth with that going on, man. We got to chop it up. Like I said, he quiet spoken, and got to understand it's hard for a person to first come to ADX and you talking through the drains and talking through the toilets. You blowing the toilets out, and you blowing the drains out. That's another reason why a person locked up, most men's locked up in ADX, they're gonna keep their toilet and they cell spotless. I mean, they toilet, they shower, it's gonna be spotless. They're gonna keep it cleaned out. They're gonna keep it there because we actually use that as a telephone. You just have to be careful who's next to you, because the drains are connected. So when you're talking to certain people, if you got the wrong people on the side of you, you be very, very careful about what you say. So me and him went back and forth and going on, and he was telling me a little bit about his thing, how, he was getting it, what was popping in Baltimore, and, what they was getting their money out for, opposed to what was popping in Louisiana, and the money that was being made by the people down there. And we went back and forth, I rarely got a chance to see him out on the outside rec. I could see him on the inside rec, and we'll do a little sign language, or we'll throw a note to each other going on, and we'll go back and forth. And like I said, he still got hopes and belief on trying to get up out there. He haven't laid down and everything. And like every other gangster that I done seen, if he did allegedly what they said he do going on, when a man do that there, he do, he's focused on being the best at what he do. And it's not necessary that he's so cold-hearted or whatever, but once it becomes necessary to become a business, you can't sit around and not do nothing, because to sit around and not do nothing is to end up being a victim. And so, like I said, me and him got along real good, and everybody always asks me about him. I've been getting a lot of people calling to ask about him, but I mean, how he was doing, he doing real well. He was doing real well when I left him, other than the fact that he had that eye surgery that I never did see him get. Hopefully he got the eye surgery. He had good spirits. He was around some good mans. He around Malik, he around Wayne Perry. He around, Jeff Ford. He around some solid men. He around some men that you would say that's on this level. Men who have been in a situation where they have, have influence and had influence over men, so they know how to move. And hopefully they're getting everything together down there. And AJ, much love and respect to you, man, and going on and keep pushing. And to all my men down there in ADX, keep pushing it going on. I got more stories about him, but look him up and you'll see the things about him. And like I said, he don't go for nothing down there. He don't play no game with the police. He don't let the police play no game with him. What he say he do, and you can see the respect. Men are trying to leave there, but they're not trying to leave there on letting the police abuse them and talk to them in any kind of way, because a lot of police will come there and they feel like because you're such a big name that they get some accolades over being able to go home and say, well, I just hound such and such. I told him he wasn't getting his lunch, or he wasn't getting this and wasn't getting this him going on. Yeah, he's supposed to be so tough out on the street. So it's a game that they play. But he stands his ground. He don't do no whole lot of talking, but what he said, he mean, and I think they get the picture. But also, when I was down there and we were down there, he had a lot of other men that had shut it down with him, and that's the way we kind of moved down there, Will. we'll block them doors up, and they have to go in one cell after nothing. But much love. Appreciate y'all tuning in on me. Look up AJ, and you'll see what's going on with him and everything. And you can, to the beat, to the Baltimore people, man, much love.
By 1994, law enforcement had AJ in their sights, led by Sergeant Andre Street and Detective Terry Hipkins of the Baltimore City Police Department. A task force began building a case. The Drug Enforcement Administration joined forces, employing wiretaps, surveillance, and informants to piece together Jones's intricate operation. Key players in AJ's network began falling one by one. In February 1995, Rodney Montgomery, a trusted lieutenant, was arrested on I-95 with $35,000 in cash. K-9 units detected drug residue in his car, linking him directly to Jones. Derek Hillstock, a cocaine supplier based in New York, was apprehended with kilograms of product destined for Jones. Despite the mounting pressure, AJ seemed untouchable, but authorities weren't just after his drug network. They were building a murder case. By 1996, they suspected Jones of orchestrating at least 12 murders, possibly more than 20. Among these atrocities was a rival being burned alive, and an audacious attempted assassination inside Johns Hopkins Hospital, where a Jones associate tried to kill a rival receiving medical care. In February 1996, AJ was arrested on a minor charge, felon in possession of a firearm. By April, he was indicted on drug conspiracy charges, initially held in a low-security prison. Authorities allowed him phone privileges, a decision that would prove fatal for two people. While behind bars, Jones learned of federal plans to pursue more severe charges, including murder. Fearing witnesses' testimonies could sink him, AJ acted. He made phone calls to his associates, using street slang to order the execution of two potential witnesses. One of those targets was his own stepbrother, John Jones. The recordings were damning. On the call, AJ explicitly stated, "Make sure you know they do that shit tonight. ET that John tonight. That gotta go." John Jones was shot dead on February 26, 1997. Another target survived despite multiple gunshot wounds. In May 1998, Anthony Jones faced federal charges for drug conspiracy, racketeering, and 3 murders, including the retaliatory killings he orchestrated from prison. After 11 hours of jury deliberation, AJ was found guilty on all counts. The state sought the death penalty, but he was ultimately sentenced to life without parole. The revelations from his trial were shocking. Despite clear evidence of his violent behavior and phone calls arranging murders, prison officials had made no efforts to restrict his privileges until 1998, 2 years after the killings. Following his conviction, Jones was transferred to the ADX Florence Supermax prison in Colorado, where he remains today. Isolated from the outside world, his days of ruling the streets and the prison phones are long over. Feel free to suggest a story you want to see using the link in the description. Also, 19XX is on Patreon, the tier for ad and sponsor-free content. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn your notifications on for future videos.
Boy George was a multimillionaire by the age of 21. It is said that in 2 years he earned over $30 million and led a beautiful and rich life. Exotic cars in the style of James Bond, a party on a yacht on Christmas Eve for hundreds of thousands of dollars, a harem of girls who tattooed his name on their bodies, glamour, jewelry, bags of money. Boy George had it all, and he had it all before he was even 21 years old. So if you're interested in hearing about a young drug kingpin from the Bronx, then meet George, Boy George Rivera, on the other side of the law. And by the age of 17, Rivera began to distribute drugs on the street, which was largely facilitated by acquaintance with a 30-year-old cocaine dealer, Joey Navarro. His precocious savvy at such a young age earned him his nickname, Boy George. It was a Joey joke and it stuck, George said. When you say Boy George, you're either talking about the singer or me. Boy George was a popular performer at the time, frontman of the band Culture Club, known for his eccentric appearance.
At the end of the 1980s, while America concerned itself with the crack epidemic, Boy George, was running one of the most lucrative and aggressive heroin organizations in the city. Rivera's rise coincided with the era of other notorious drug lords in New York, such as Kenneth Supreme McGriff of the Supreme Team. While Rivera and McGriff operated in different boroughs, Rivera in the Bronx and McGriff in Queens, their operations shared similarities in their ruthlessness and efficiency. Rivera's operation was notorious for its brutality. He maintained control through fear and violence, employing enforcers who were tasked with intimidating, assaulting, and even murdering those who posed a threat to his business. The violent reputation of Rivera and his organization ensured that few dared to challenge him, allowing him to maintain a stranglehold on the drug trade in the South Bronx area. Boy George was a multi-millionaire by the age of 21. A brilliant and powerfully ambitious drug entrepreneur who saw an opportunity and seized it. It's alleged he made over $15 million in his 2-year run. Government sources say that Boy George and his Bronx-based heroin organization gross $250,000 a week.
George Rivera, better known as Boy George. I need y'all to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. Now, this episode being about George Rivera, also known as Boy George. Now, Boy George, he's called Boy George because he was getting money at an extremely early age. He ran into the average problem that urban child run into, being a Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying, up in New York, in the Bronx. He ran into his thing. He had a little trouble with running, go to reform school, did a little time, a little stay here and there going on. But the difference between him and the average youngster was he was set on being big. Boy George, as a boy, had already set his mind on being big, and he was doing everything to make that happen. Boy George is known for having exotic cars at the age of 17 years old. Kid is riding around in a Benz. He's making move with that heroin. He stick to the heroin game. He's a big dope boy, and he's making it big with that. And Boy George, as he got older, even before he reached the age of 21, they said Boy George was a millionaire many times over. They said the man had cars that was gadget out just like James Bond's cars. You know what I'm saying? The man had it, and he threw big luxurious parties. Had women so in love with him they was tattooing his name all over him and everything. The man was very flamboyant. They said Boy George is at a 2-year period of time. They stated that Boy George made at least $30 million in 2 years period of time. That's a lot of money even for nowadays. And he was doing it back then. Now, this Boy George that I speak of, and that maybe the news media and other people can tell you about it. I heard this, most of what I heard about was from his people, but they also got news media out there that can tell you something this about it, but I don't know this Boy George. The Boy George I know, I met in jail. Me and Boy George was in Marion lockdown. When they shut Marion lockdown down because of an incident with the police assaulting an inmate, and we had to buck about it. When they shut it down in order to turn it into an FCI, the Federal Bureau gave them a set date to get every last one of us out there. So they had to do something unusual. They was busing us from all the way from Marion to wherever we was going. No stop, no nothing. Our food, everything was on there. They busing us straight there. That's not the usual practice. That's an unusual practice. What they generally do is you go on a bus or you go wherever you're going, and they'll take you to the Oklahoma Federal Transfer Center. You go over there and you stay there for about a week until whichever area you're going to. If you're going west, you're going east, you're going whatever penitentiary you go to, you'll stay there at Oklahoma Transfer Center until your bus or your airplane is leaving, going in that direction. So it usually take you about a week to get to your destination. Now, because they had to do immediate evacuation with us, we was on the bus. They had 2 buses going our way. They was riding neck to neck with each other, back to back. You had the bus going full of everyone who was going to USP Beaumont, Bloody Beaumont they called it. That bus was in front of us. The second bus was us, all the people that was going to USP Pollock. So we ride back to back. We got our food on there and everything. A guy behind me, sitting behind me, he tell me, hey, call the dude there, Boy George, call him. So I said, huh? He said, call the dude Boy George. I said, man, I'm not calling that man no Boy George, man. I said, who is you talking to? No, that's his name. I said, man, I don't care what. I'm not calling that man no Boy George. Because I knew the singer for Culture Club and everything, and I didn't know if this guy was trying to shoot some disrespect at this man, and I don't play that, and I ain't gonna be no part of that there. So I refused to say anything. I went on, started looking back forward. So he got up to go to the bathroom, and when the guy behind me got up to go to the bathroom, I heard him whisper, hey, Boy George. And then when he came back, Boy George turned around and they was talking to each other, and I seen it was okay, all right, my bad, I didn't know. I just wasn't gonna call that man that because I didn't know what was going on at that time. So now we make it to Pollock. We get to USP Pollock. I see Boy George and coming and going. Me and him actually in the same unit together. So I see him, and I basically see him. I didn't know he was a G27 or what, because that's who he hung with. And him and Cheese was best boys, G27 Cheese and everything. So that's who he hung with and everybody. We moved to and fro. We spoke to each other. We nodded, but we didn't really have no rapport. But we just spoke to each other. We see each other because everybody who came from Marion, we had to go take our red cards. And every hour when we was on the yard or anywhere we was at, we had to let the police know where we was because we come from a lockdown place. By us coming from lockdown Marion, they wanted to know where we was at all time. We had to check in every hour in case if they had a body on their side of the yard or somebody got stabbed on their side of the yard, anything, we would be the first suspect. So I see him when we go sign in and back and forth. Never had no basically sit down and talk with him. You know what I'm saying? He was moving, he was making things happen. I was moving, doing my thing and everything. So an incident happened one day with a guy from Florida, a dude named Leroy. I didn't fool with him. He had money also, but it was very disrespectful. He was a very disrespectful, spoiled dude. And he kind of chubby, about 5'7", about 220. And I'm sitting there in front of my cell, and he come down, Boy George is in the shower. And he come down to the shower, and he tell Boy George, he blowing on Boy George, tell him, you better tell your homeboy this or that, something about my money, this or whatever, because he ran a little store. And he was talking so crazy to Boy George. I'm like, man, this dude done lost his rabbit ass mind. He's sitting here. You do not approach a man like that in the shower while he's vulnerable unless you finna put in some work right there. Because that's the way he supposed to perceive it. And in my mind, I'm saying, Boy George supposed to come out this here shower. When he get out this shower, he supposed to knock that dude butt off. Because that dude was dead wrong. The dude from Florida going on, I didn't fool with him. A lot of people in the unit didn't fool with him and going on. So Boy George get out the shower. Boom. He goes to his cell. Boom, boom, hurry up. He still wet. He put on some shoes. He go grab his man Cheese. I watch him go right up to the room. They go up in the room. You hear a little tussling going on. Dude running out there. While he running out there, they catch him again in his ass. Wow, they catch him right in the butt. They catch him in the butt. So he run all the way around. Then he came back and he go stand in front of the police officer. Dude named Leroy. So Cheese and them, they going that way. He stand in front of the police officer, but he keep his butt. He got his butt bagged up where the police can see he bleeding because he in some shorts. And the police he on the phone, doing something on the phone. But he look up and he see the dude bleeding. So the police jump up and run out there and grab him. when the police jump up and run out there and grab him, he called for a bag up, and they came and everything. They put everybody in their cell and went on. They went and got some things out of his cell and took him off. So when they took him on out, they let us back out. So when they let us back out, I come on out. Homeboys coming like, what's going on? I said, that was that clown Leroy going on. I said, Cheese and Boy George just went in on him like that. And so I seen Cheese and Boy George going up the steps. And I thought about it that Buster B from Florida, he called himself Buster Bitch. He was a little short guy like myself, but he was good. He was a dude I fooled with out of Florida. So they was going up the steps, and I see him going up that way. So I take a couple of homeboys, and I shoot up the other way. So I shoot up the other way, and we meet at Buster B cell. So we meet at the cell, and I tell him, I say, look here, Boy George, I was right there. I seen what that clown did. I heard the way he was talking and going on. He deserved everything he got. I got no problem with that. I said, but Buster B don't fool with that dude. I said, he from Florida, but he don't fool with that dude. Don't nobody in this unit fool with that dude because he don't know how to talk to men. I said, so he ain't got nothing to do with that. And I called Buster B. I said, come out here, man. He come out. I said, look here. That stuff just happened with Boy George and Leroy. Is you got anything to do with that? How you feel about it? He said, Buster B said, I don't fuck with that dude, homie. You know that, man. I said, all right, then. He telling you the same thing I'm telling him. So I don't give a shit about that other dude, but I fool with different. And they said, all right, cool, boom. So it went on, boom. So now when they leave, they go on. So now when the next move open, Blowley and Cadillac and about 5 more other dudes from Florida, they come down there with their knives. They come in there, man. We just heard what happened, what going on. I said, let me tell you something, Blowley, y'all, Cadillac. I said, I don't fool with that dude. Whatever y'all want, if y'all want to go to war for him, y'all can do it, but I'm not doing it. Number one, he was dead wrong. The man coming there cussing this man out about some commissary or something like this, pulled up on this man while he was in the shower and going on. He dead wrong for that, man. And then he acting like he had something when he pulled up on that man going on. I said, yeah, they did. And then his ass he go get his scary butt and go stand right there in front of the police office, dry ratting by showing where they had to stab him at, and he bagged up. And right there, the dude was ratting. That was dry ratting going on. I said, now that's what I feel about it. I said, I don't care nothing about it. He got what he got coming because he was dead wrong. So Blowed them said, no, big homie, I know you going to keep it real. I said, you know what I'm saying? Even if I didn't fool with him, if he was in the right, I wouldn't have let it happen to him. They said they left and they go up to his cell. They went up to his cell. They got all this stuff and they left with it. You know what I'm saying? So now, from that time on, me and Boy George, we would see each other and we would start like we was talking. Hey, man, you all right? Good? Everything good? You need anything? I said, nah, I'm doing my thing. You doing your thing, blah, blah, blah. So we would holler at each other, but we had to got a little more cordial. So I ended up going to the hole when they found 3 knives in my cell. And me and my cellie went to the hole. And my cellie ended up taking the charge. And they ended up letting me out because the dispute was going on between Shreveport and Louisiana and New Orleans. And they were trying to get me out to see could I squash it. So I got out. And I got out. When I got out, during this time, while I'm walking down the walkway, I see 4 dudes coming at me. One of them I recognized as Boy George, another Big Tears, and a couple of more dudes was walking that way. And I kind of discerned that all of them was from New York. But the Boy George usually be with the G27, so he was like 3 other black guys right now. And I'm trying to figure out what the play is. I'm like, man, these dudes, whatever got to go down, you know what I'm saying? So they walking up on me. So Boy George told 2 of them to stay back. And so when 2 of them stayed back and they walked up on me, and he had Big Tears with him. And Boy George tell me, hey, man, I told Big Tears to come holler at you, man, or something that happened out here. And I told him, man, I said, wait till the dude Bam Bam get out, man. Don't do nothing, man, because if he come out here and something didn't happen, man, the little dude, he gonna go. He said, but y'all can, if you talk to the little dude, he fair. I done seen that, and I done heard that from Mary, and I done heard that all over. So I said, well, talk to me about what's the problem? And that's when Big Tig told me that 2 of my homeboys went in 2 of his homeboys' cell when they got in a fight on the yard. A New Jersey dude and a New York dude, got in a fight on the yard. Both of those dudes were single cell, which means they didn't have a ceiling. Two of my young homeboys went in they cell, both of them their cells, and took everything out their cell, stole it basically. So he was telling me that he tried to talk to somebody about it, but they didn't want to hear it and going on. So Boy George told him to wait and talk to me. All right, so I told him, I said, I hear what you saying. I'm going to go find out what's going on. If they did what you said, then I'm going to get all your stuff back and I'll deal with the situation my way. He said, yeah, that's all I asked, man, going on. I said, all right, well, I'm going to go check it out. So I'm going to go ask the homeboy to find out. I went and talked to the homeboy. I talked to him, Mutt. He told me exactly what happened, that they did do everything the dude said. And I pulled up on the dudes, the two young dudes. I had them brought out to me. And I was so mad, not just for the thievery alone, because I always say that if you take something from somebody, then they got to defend it one-on-one. Then if they come back at you, that's between you and them. I said, but if you go steal something from somebody, I got no respect from that way. He can't defend his own stuff. But anyway, one had 9 months left and the other had like 12 months left, a year. I said, man, y'all sitting here finna get killed or have to kill somebody over this government ass stuff when you finna go home. I said, man, that don't even make no sense. You finna die with this jailhouse stuff and go. I said, man, y'all don't even deserve to be on no yard, man. You ain't gonna die around me. I said, I told the homeboys, send them up top, they gone. So I sent them up top. I went and got all the stuff. I took all the stuff to Big T's. Only thing was missing was 5 books of stamps and a porn book. So I took 5 books of stamps out of one of my stoves and I gave them, put the 5 books in there, and I went got a porn book from my homeboy school. And I gave him that there. And the dude like, man, we appreciate that and everything. I said, man, it's the right thing to do in this situation like that. Like that. They said, well, what? I said, man, what happened with them? Y'all ain't got nothing to do with that. I done took care of that. And I did what I felt I should be done. Nobody else dictate what we do to Louisiana. He said, I respect that, went on. And from that point on, me and Boy George, now we were stopping and talking and going on like that because he respected what I did and we stopped talking, but I couldn't really focus and because I had intentionally to get with him. I had intention to get with him to make some money. That's honestly, I had that intent since that avenue had been open. But I was focused on the upcoming beef that had to happen. If my homeboys did not agree to either get along, we was all gonna be gone. And so Boy George he checked on me when I was going out there for that going on. So me and him we got pretty cool. We had respect for each other now. I seen what he did down there. I don't know what his connection was with G27s or what. I heard a lot about what he did on the streets, as I mentioned, that you look this up and everything. But this is what happened when I met Boy George. Like I said, I'll tell you my story, and it can be verified by many homeboys that was down there at that time when Boy George and I was there. J-Rock or BC, you can name him. But anyway, thank you for tuning in on Bam Bam Raw TV. I need to get me some subscribers. Come make these things better. We're gonna make these episodes better. We still coming on. We still got Wayne Perry coming. We still got El Chapo. We still got Larry Hoover coming. We still got some good stuff in store. Hey, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Hey, I'm Bam Bam, aka the 411 Giant. Keep rocking with me. Love you.
Boy George, barely out of his teens, built himself a reputation of being one of the wealthiest drug lords from New York and one of the youngest to be charged with the kingpin statute. Rivera's high-profile activities did not go unnoticed by law enforcement. Throughout the 1980s, the NYPD and federal agencies launched numerous investigations into his operations. Rivera was adept at evading capture, employing a combination of counter-surveillance techniques, bribery, and sheer intimidation to keep the authorities at bay. However, by 1987, law enforcement had gathered enough evidence to take significant action. A major investigation culminated in Rivera's arrest in 1988, along with several of his top associates. The charges against him were extensive, including drug trafficking, racketeering, and multiple counts of murder. The subsequent trial was a major event, drawing widespread media attention and symbolizing the broader fight against the drug epidemic that was ravaging American cities. Rivera's trial revealed the full extent of his criminal activities. Prosecutors presented a mountain of evidence, including testimonies from former associates who had turned state's evidence, wiretap recordings, and financial records that detailed the vast sums of money flowing through his organization. The trial painted a damning picture of Rivera as a ruthless and violent drug lord who had little regard for the lives he destroyed. In 1991, George Rivera was convicted on all charges and sentenced to life in prison, without the possibility of parole. Interestingly, during his time in prison, Rivera made attempts to cooperate with law enforcement. Like many high-profile criminals facing life sentences, he offered information on other drug operations in exchange for potential leniency. Rivera's eventual downfall and life imprisonment underscore the relentless efforts of law enforcement to combat the drug epidemic, despite the immense challenges they faced. His conviction was a significant victory, but it also highlighted the ongoing struggle to address the root causes of drug addiction and trafficking. Today, the legacy of Boy George Rivera serves as a cautionary tale about the perils of the drug trade and the enduring impact it has on communities. His life story, with all its violence and ambition, remains a powerful chapter in the history of New York City's battle against drugs, reflecting broader themes of crime, punishment, and the quest for redemption.